It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM, and our next guest might just be the busiest man in the country right now. He's got about 15 balls in the air that he's juggling. They're all baseballs. Baseball is still happening despite the weather. It is a summer sport, but they're playing it out into the winter at the moment. The youngsters around the country are anyway in a very important tournament, and Dave Penrose is on location at it. G'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, going very well, thanks, mate.
Where are you and what are you covering?
Yeah, we're down at Glenelg in sunny South Australia at the moment, so it's not blowing a gale at all, and I definitely haven't dropped those 15 baseballs I was juggling as a result of that win. But we're at the Australian Junior League Championship, which is our third of four major junior events at the moment, with a massive ticket to the US for the winner on the line.
So when you say a ticket to the US... When occasionally, for those that have Foxtel and you're flicking around the channels and you come across ESPN, you'll see the Little League World Series on from time to time. You know, these are 12, 13-year-old kids under the microscope, so to speak. It's their first real, the elite, it's the first real look at what life might be like for some of them when they move on to bigger honours, higher honours later in life. But that's the ticket that we're talking about, right?
Yeah, 100%. So that's the Little League, which is the pinnacle of the four events. At the moment, we're at Junior League, which is still in itself, you know, a great opportunity to head over to the US and play in Taylor, Michigan. But yeah, four lucky teams from Australia that get to go and represent the region against some of the best from the US and also around the world, some of the Asian powerhouses and you know, various American countries as well, in a really exciting opportunity that we haven't been able to have in baseball for the last couple of years due to COVID.
All right. So how many teams are competing down at Glenelg this week?
So we have 10 teams down here, which is the second biggest out of our four events. So we'll head to Little League next week, which is the biggest field. But 10 teams from around the country, including a couple of South Australian charters in the Adelaide Rays and Adelaide Marlins, that are duking it out down here.
Right, so the top four, you said, go through. Is that the way it works?
So the top two in each pool will head on to a semi-final, which has sort of been pushed back a little bit because of the rain that we had earlier in the week. So we're going to lose a day effectively from this tournament. So we'll be playing semi-finals and the finals on the very same day on Friday. So semi-finals in the morning, and then the two winners of that will head on through to a gold medal game where an Australian champion will be crowned.
Right, so the Australian champion, obviously, they'll be delighted to win that. But those who make the semis, are they the four clubs that will then go overseas? Is that how it will work?
No, so just one from this team, so just the gold medal in this one. So yeah,
so one from each of the divisions. Yes, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
yep.
Correct. So we've crowned two of them in recent weeks. So we've had the Australian Senior League Championship down in Geelong. So the Eastern Athletics out of Victoria punched their ticket first, and then in Mildura last week, the Wanneroo Giants out of Western Australia, who only became a standalone charter, 12 months ago, or just over 12 months ago. Last year was their first on the national scene. They punched their ticket to the Intermediate League in Livermore, South Carolina. So, yeah, awesome for those two charters that they've already been able to achieve it. 10 teams here that have their sights set on joining them, and then we'll head off to Little League where the fourth and final one will be crowned.
So where will the Little League tournament be played?
So we're headed off to Macarthur in Sydney for Little League this year. Because of what's happened in Lismore with the floods, we've had to have a late location change, which is disappointing for the locals there, and it's always a great event and town is buzzing, but good opportunity for Macarthur as well to host a national event.
Fantastic. So the tournament in Glenelg at the moment, what's the age bracket for these kids that are playing?
Yeah, so they generally sit in that 12, 13, 14-year-old bracket. So a lot of them have had their first taste of national events in previous years at either Little League or Intermediate League, and back for a second or third attempt, and names that are starting to get recognised, and some of them starting to put their name in contention for U16 squads.
Right. So the winner of this tournament will go to the States and play in that big tournament over there. The Little League that I was talking about before, what's the age bracket for those kids?
Yeah, so you have to have turned 10, so between 10 to 12. So it's just that ridiculous opportunity that they get that not many other sports in Australia can provide. So 10 to 11, 12-year-olds that get the opportunity to go over to the US, represent Australia region, brush shoulders with big league baseballers, and play in front of proper stadiums and be broadcast, as you said, on ESPN. So it's a pretty unique opportunity and one that they're very lucky, almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, they play at those little leaguers who get to play at the Cathedral of Baseball for the youngsters. It is a very popular place. People go. You mentioned big leaguers get there for it. I mean, it's an incredible setup they have, isn't it?
It really is, and it's probably going to be buzzing even more than previous years this year. After a couple of years where 2020 it was cancelled, 2021 it only featured the US team, so it's definitely going to have a much different vibe this year with the international flavour back to it.
All right, let's look at what's in front of us this week. So the charters that are there's 10 of them, a couple of them from Adelaide you mentioned. Obviously there's charters from all over the country that have come down for it. So I won't ask you to name all 10 of them, but who are the charters that are doing well at the moment that you're keeping a close eye on? Yeah,
the Adelaide Rays from the local contingent have made a really nice start picking up their first couple of games to put themselves in contention for a semi-final berth. And obviously the New South Wales powerhouses in Cronulla and Ryde. So Ryde won this tournament last year, and obviously most of the players have filtered through to the next age bracket, so they have a fresh look this year, but they're always a strong charter. So they're looking really good. And we have Eastern Athletics as well from Victoria that started with a win and look to continue that on and potentially back up what their senior league outfit was able to do in Geelong a couple of weeks ago. So they'd be hoping to join them and punching their ticket to the US.
All right. So the conclusion of this tournament will be finals day again. When is that again? Sorry?
So we're heading towards finals on Friday, and fingers crossed that we won't be impacted by rain. So looking at a couple of semi-finals from 8:30 a.m. down at Glenelg on Friday, and then head into a gold medal game from midday if the weather stays away.
All right. And then we've got the Little League to have a look at as well. What else is on the radar? What else is coming up in terms of tournaments? Will you get a break at any stage?
I'll definitely get a break as I finish up my time in baseball. But, the Australian Youth Championship will be the next event on the calendar post-Little League. So that's early July up in Redcliffe in Queensland. And it's, again, a really exciting opportunity. That age bracket, they haven't played on a national stage since 2020, the start of 2020 in Geelong. So quite a few quite a few players, full stop there that, haven't been put in front of scouts that probably may have been in the past 12 months in a normal sort of world, but really exciting opportunity for them. And it will be interesting to see the development that's been going on in the various states and territories behind closed doors and, where they stack up against the rest of the states.
Absolutely. Dave, we'll catch up with you to find out how the Little Leaguers are going, but you've already tipped off our listeners to how I was going to finish today. You will be finishing up with Baseball Australia soon.
Yeah, certainly will be. So I'm not 100% sure what date that will be, but we'll continue to chat through to that point. So, it's been awesome to continue chatting to you about baseball and keep your listeners informed across the years.
Love it, mate. Been great having you. We'll catch up again soon and enjoy the rest of the tournament. Good luck juggling those 15 baseballs in the air.
Thank you. I'll go pick them up off the ground now.
Dave Penrose from Baseball Australia. It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM. Next, Ellis Gellius will take over. He'll have Eddie Dadds with him for the Weird World of Sports.